morning. It is Monday morning and it is the day after Burgers and Bands, and we are Marketing Moms, the podcast for entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out this marketing business, right? You have a small business, you want to know how to market it, but it's a lot of work. So that's what we're here for. Let me bring in Anastassia. Hold on one second. We were having major technical difficulties. There she is. Anastassia was looking like a ghost in the other one. There was all kinds of crazy stuff happening. So, all right. So we're going to make marketing easy for you. I do want to remind you before we start to subscribe. This helps us a lot. If you subscribe on YouTube, it helps me not look like a nerd in front of my kids. And now actually it helps Anastassia not to look like a nerd in front of her kids, because then we have actual followers on social media or on YouTube. In the meantime, we are going to start by telling you that you can ask questions, and you can ask them by leaving a comment. When you leave the comment, we see it, we can answer it live. Try it out. I've got a couple of people who I'm seeing watch this right now. Try it out. Leave us a comment. In the meantime, let's go back to who we are. I'm Ann, and this is
Anastassia.
And we are the Marketing Moms, and we always want to give you something to walk away with. But today I'm going to do this a little bit differently. And we didn't have a chance, honestly, to talk about this earlier, Anastassia, because we had the technical difficulties. But yes. I want to talk about calls marketing, and this is going to be your actionable item of the week. I want you to pick something, and I will tell you the truth. This is not for your marketing. It will help your marketing, but it's for your soul. It will help your soul. It will help your heart. Pick something you care about. I was just talking to Charity Connect last night. I was talking to Kristen from Charity Connect, and she does a lot of volunteering, but a lot, because that's what her business is to connect volunteers to organizations. So she's always trying out new organizations. But recently she started volunteering at a pet shelter. And she walks this dog, and it has made her so happy to walk this dog. So pick a cause you care about and give back. And that's with Burgers and Bands. That's how we started. And we call it cause marketing because it ended up coming back to us, right? And it ended up helping our business without us meaning to help our business. That wasn't the point. So it helped our business. So since we're talking about cause marketing, I am going to just talk a little bit about what happened yesterday and how it went and why I love Burgers and Bands and everything that surrounds it. So, Anastassia, what was your take on the day what was the best part of the day for you?
I think it was the end with the raffles for me. It's just really capped off a day that was really good. So it was a great day. And so having it end the way it did, and I did wear my "You Are Not Alone" shirt today specifically because I knew there was no way that this episode was not going to be a little bit about what we did yesterday. But it was great. It's that, and also seeing new faces. We have such a following in Severna Park, and we have a great group of people that always come to our events, and a lot of them came to Annapolis. But just knowing that we're reaching other people is great. Seeing new faces and hearing how much they appreciate the event and what we're doing is amazing.
Absolutely. So, well, let's talk about the end and how it ended, because it was an unusual. I always talk about Burgers and Bands as these God moments, things that happen that you're like, well, that was divine. That just had to happen, right?
Yeah.
And we have that a lot with Burgers and Bands. I mean, the fact that we started a thing called Burgers and Bands, we started a charity called Burgers and Bands, and we got burgersandbands.org. I was so surprised by that, right? But our raffle last night, we raffled off two things. We had a 50-50 raffle, which was, I think it ended up around
$1,450. Yeah.
And so we gave out $720 some dollars, and $725, I guess. But we did that. And then the other part was the guitar that you probably saw last week. I think it was sitting behind me. And we raffled off this great PRS guitar that they donated to us. So here's what happened. The very first thing that happened was, actually, I will tell you, my husband is the one who put them in because we are not allowed to enter for ourselves. So he bought raffle tickets. He's like, I really want to contribute to the guitar thing. So I'm going to put them in for Warrior Music Foundation.
Oh.
And at the end of the night, we drew the name, and it was Warrior Music Foundation. And we ended up having hundreds of people who had entered, but Warrior Music Foundation won it. And they're going to be donating this to somebody within their organization. And what they do is music therapy for veterans and their families. So if it had ended there, wow, that would have still been,
Yeah,
wow.
absolutely.
Isn't that? I was on cloud nine. But then we did the second drawing, and it turns out that, first of all, it was a volunteer who won it.
Who had been there all day. All day.
All day.
And he was selling raffle tickets all day. I will say, these were drawn in front of a lot of people. There's no way that this was,
exactly.
It was out of a big bucket. Somebody put their hand down. Actually, I think my daughter said she pulled the ticket for this one. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, what I thought when I saw it, I was like, I think this is a joke. The way he'd written his name, I basically thought they just put their name on it and they didn't mean to win. But there was a phone number. So I was like, I'm going to text it anyway and see what, So I texted it, and he messages me back, and he's like, oh my God, I'm pulling out of the driveway. I'm pulling out of the parking lot right now. And I am shaking because I cannot believe I won. I'm coming right back. So he came back. And you tell the rest of the story, because
so he comes in and he's like, I really considered giving the money back to you guys, but I have a nonprofit of my own. It is called Lifehouse Recovery of Maryland. I'm sorry, Jay, if I think that's right. His name is Jay Main, and he was like, this is going to make such a huge difference to my charity. And he really, he helps people in recovery get housing. So it's,
that is the whole thing.
It was incredible. Look, you're crying now. Yeah.
I know. It's just like, it does. It just makes your heart happy. Mm-hmm. So cause marketing, I told you I'd give you something actionable. Do something within your company for somebody else, but make sure it's something that you care about, because when it's that way, yes, it's good for your marketing. It does help your marketing, but it really does help your heart. People kept thanking me yesterday, and I was like, you just don't even know this. Mm-hmm. What this is doing for me personally has been phenomenal, because we started it because I had felt so alone when we were going through it with my child. And now I'm never alone. I have all these wonderful people from Burgers and Bands. So
yeah, definitely.
Absolutely amazing.
It's exhausting, but it's exhausting in the best possible way.
Absolutely.
Every time we have an event, we hear back from people. And there was one volunteer yesterday who was just so grateful for the opportunity for her to volunteer, for her to have that, to feel like she has made a difference for other people. And it does something for your marketing. It really does. People want to know that you are a business that cares about other people, but at the same time, you can't fake it. Like, you have to truly care, because if you don't truly care, that's going to come across. And so I think that, we know, we care. Like, this is something that we're both very passionate about. I actually, when you were saying God moments, I was speaking, this event was held in my church. And the other day I was speaking to the priest, and I was like, you know what? Like, we were in each other's lives for 6 years before we actually met.
Yes.
And it was at the exact time that we needed to meet.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I think that's I'm like, that's a God moment, like, there were so many opportunities, and how we never met, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, and the crazy thing is, we met at Starbucks. Right? Yes. That's where we ended up. Me saying, I need help, and you're saying, I would like a job. That would be fun. So, all right. So let's move on. But I just did. So it's Burgers and Bands for Suicide Prevention. That's our charity. It's burgersandbands.org if you want to learn anything about it. It is really wonderful. We are looking for sponsors. So if you're looking for an event to sponsor for the next year, we would love to have you. And it would be very helpful for us, because we give the money back to our local schools, and we help some local charities that don't do these sorts of fundraisers. So we do a lot of things with the money that help your community. So that's where we are there. Let's move on to digital marketing, because this is a big subject. And we're
It is.
only going to touch on bits of it. We're going to go through it relatively quickly, and then there will be episodes for each and every one of these specific things. Okay, we already talked about websites, so we'll talk about that as well. But let's start with SEO, organic and paid. Right?
Yep.
Let's talk SEO, search engine optimization, is something people think of as this bit of magic. And honestly, I will be really open here. I thought of it as a bit of magic and maybe too sciencey for me when I first started. That was something SEO was going to leave to other people. And what we've come to realize is there's no real magic to it. It is all about our little game that we play, which is making Google happy. What does Google want from you? And so if you can play that game right, you can win. And that doesn't have to mean, I know companies who are spending $9,000 a month on SEO. It doesn't have to be that. Now, they're probably getting great results spending that much money, but if you are a small business, you can still take advantage of SEO, and there are small ways to do it. We'll just give you some quick examples. Make sure that if you belong to a BNI, you have that filled, your profile filled out. If you belong to a chamber, you have your profile filled out. Make sure on everything you do, you're putting in your email, your website address, so that things lead back to you. It's that simple.
Yep, and we pointed that out last week, a couple weeks ago, I think. So that was one of your homeworks. So hopefully you've already done this, because that was your actionable item that week. So if you haven't done it, I'm telling you again, you have to do it. Because SEO, it's that search engine optimization. Yes, some big long thing, but really it's just Google, or there are a few people that use Bing, or maybe, I don't know.
There's one person. There's exactly one person.
There's Yahoo, probably. I don't know. Is that still around? So whatever search engines, that's what that means. A lot of people, it's like this. It is a big term that people throw around, but that's what it is. It's how many points have you got with Google, and where are you going to show up? Are you going to be on the first page? Are you going to be on the second page? It just depends. But any time that your website is located on something, and there's backlinks, that's what that's called if it's on. So if our website is on the chamber, Northern Anne Arundel Chamber of Commerce, and the Greater Severna Park Chamber, that gives us a backlink. So that backlink helps us with Google. It's going to give us some more points.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your website, everybody knows you have to have a website. They know that if you don't, you're not really doing your digital marketing right. You have to start there. People are going to look you up, even if they're still finding you on Facebook, even if they're finding you on TikTok, for crying out loud. They want a website. They want to be able to have a central place. Plus, it's the only place you own on the internet.
Yes.
Right? It's
definitely
the only thing that's yours.
It's the only place that you can 100% control the content on there. Granted, depending if you're working with somebody else, with a company that's managing it, like, you need to have access to it. And we're actually going to go into websites in a couple of episodes, like a little bit further deep into it. But that's something that, like Ann said, this is yours. You have control over it. So make sure you put your best foot forward, because people, even if they find you on Instagram or Facebook, on LinkedIn, wherever, they're going to click on your profile and they're going to find your website. And I will look at a website, and if I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're about. I don't know who they are. I don't know. There are things that you have to build that legitimacy with your potential client.
I have a really good example here, and it's not of the website itself, but it just occurred to me. So we went to Austin last year, and I don't remember the name of the bar, so I won't say it out loud. But when we showed up we were going to listen to some blues music, and when we got there, it was basically in a junkyard. The bar was in a junkyard. Now, I really didn't even want to get out of the taxi. My husband made me do that and go in, because I was like, this does not look like a safe place. Your website should not look like that bar, right? Because what happens is it makes people go, I don't know if I want to call this person. I mean, they didn't do a great job with their website. It doesn't look great. It look there's some, misspellings, the words, the grammar's not great, whatever it is. You want your website to represent who you are. So make sure it's not that dive bar looking like that you just pulled up to a junkyard.
Or that you're putting up pictures, of I'm going to make something up. I'm going to combine a couple of things that have happened in the past. But you're putting up a picture. Say you're a painter and you're showing a beautiful room that you painted, but there's dirty clothes sitting on the couch of the room that you're putting up the picture. Like, you need to look at these details because it's presenting yourself. It's the first impression that a lot of people are going to get. Some of them might get a first impression from your Instagram or Facebook that you're doing a great job with your social media. That may offset it. But what about the people who are looking for you? If they are going on Google or any other search engine and they're looking for a painter or a restaurant or whatever they're looking for, if your website's the first place they go, they might not go and look at your social. But if you have a great website and you have your social links, we'll go into that again in a couple of weeks. If you have that all and it all looks great, it just leaves people with like, you know what, maybe I'll give them a call. At least give you a chance. But if you don't have a good website, you may not have any chance at all with some people.
Exactly. All right. Email marketing is one of our favorite subjects. We will go into it completely later. But if you are not doing email marketing, you are missing the boat. And here's why. Email marketing isn't about how many people open it. It's about how many people see it in their inbox. Because think about how many times, I'll use the Gap as an example. How many times have I gotten a message from Gap and I thought, oh, well, I don't need it, right? And I thought about, oh, I'll unsubscribe. And I'm like, I don't have time. So I don't. And then, of course, it comes up and I'm like, oh, I was supposed to order khakis for my son. But it's that little reminder. So think of email marketing as that little, hey, I'm still here. Because what's my favorite thing to say about email marketing, Anastasia, about people and their businesses?
Oh, you're forgettable. Everybody's forgettable.
You are forgettable. And it happened the other day at my house. Who was it? I needed not an electrician because I know my electrician personally, but I wanted a plumber and I could not for the life of me remember the name of the plumber. So I just looked up a plumber near me and he didn't come up because I was like, I don't recognize any of these names, but this guy's got 5 stars. I'll call him. That's a horrible thing, but I needed him right then. Right.
Yeah.
And if he's constantly in my inbox, I'm not going to forget him.
Yeah.
Right?
A great example of that is I remember years ago, my kids were little, I'd get emails from Carter's, the kids' clothing.
Oh yeah.
And so I never opened the emails because I am not a big shopper. But I didn't unsubscribe because I still wanted the emails to come. So I would get into the store and I'd be like, oh, I wonder if they sent me a coupon recently. So I would search through my email and find the coupon. Now, everybody thinks that email, oh, we're getting too much email. Everybody wants text. Do you really want your phone blowing up with text every day?
Oh my God, I hate that so much.
From marketers? No, you want to be able to curate it. And now, we have the opportunities with these smart email boxes now where they can put all your promotions and your social in different categories, so you can still see what's important to you, but you still get to peruse the list that you've signed up for. Now, 80% of millennials prefer email as their number one form of communication from businesses. So that's what you need to think about. Like, yeah, everybody's overwhelmed with email, but how many have you actually unsubscribed to?
Right.
Think about that. I get like 100 emails a day on my personal account. Forget about the business one, and yeah, if there are some things, for instance, with Carter's, my kids are too big for those clothes. So I have unsubscribed, but for a long time they were in there. So anytime I went in, I look, and I still do that. I'll go in, if I go into a business that I know I get emails from, I'll have a look and see, have they emailed me recently? Was there any kind of promotion? But if I'm looking for, like a plumber or whatever, you can look through your email if they're communicating with you.
Absolutely. It's so important. As a matter of fact, we're sending out an email this morning for Park Home because tomorrow is their 4-year anniversary. Oh. And whether people open it or not, it will make a difference to her. It makes a difference. And she sees it every time. So, all right, social media, that's what we specialize in. You really need to be on social media these days. It's no longer a matter of if you should, it's how much time you should spend there, right?
Definitely.
And And that depends on your business, and we can help you with that. But it is, you have to be on social media every single day, period. That's it. You have to be on there every single day. That doesn't mean you personally have to be on there. You can hire somebody to do it. But let me remind you, hiring a teenager to do it is not your best bet, because although they may know some things about social media, they really haven't studied marketing. So it's social media marketing. And let's just be clear on that one. So,
and they're not up on the changes. For instance, the other day, and we were in the office on Thursday or Friday, whatever day it was, and we were talking about, I was working on a client on Facebook, and then I went to work on another client on Facebook. Facebook has changed not for everybody, because they don't.
Not for everybody. They don't do that.
They don't do it for everybody.
Why would they do that?
So it took me a while to figure out I think I was adding a user, which I can do in my sleep. We've been doing this for so long, and I was trying to do something in the settings, and it took me a while to figure out how. And we are in there every single day. So I can't imagine when you're
busy.
You're busy. You don't have time to be looking at these things. This is our business. This is our job. This is our continuing education. That's what we do. But another thing I want to say about social media, I want to take that back to number one, which was SEO, search engine optimization, or Google. Google wants you on social media because, again, when you have social media accounts that have your website on them, they're backlinks.
Exactly.
So think of how many that is. You've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google My Business, but that's already on Google. That's
YouTube, Pinterest.
YouTube, Pinterest. Yeah, all of those things. So the more you're at, granted, you don't need to be on all of them. You need to know, like we talked about last week with audience, you need to know where your people are and kind of go along with that and see what you're capable of doing. We don't have a TikTok account for ASMM, do we? I don't think so. I am not dancing and putting that on there. So
no, I keep thinking we do have one for Burgers and Bands, and we don't use it. We do need somebody who will run our. Believe it or not, we're a social media agency, and we need somebody who will run our TikTok.
Yeah,
it's part of what we need. So do think about these things and what you need. TikTok would be great for Burgers and Bands because it is fun and it is musical, and there's fun things we can do with it. But I don't think it's for everybody, and we do use Instagram for that part. All right, reputation management.
Reputation management. So what is that? That is what your reputation is in the community. So but in an online way. So it's reviews. It's your reviews. What are people saying about your business? What are they saying about you? What are they saying about the services that you provide? What are they saying about your employees?
Right.
And why is this all important? Because it helps you grow. Like, reputation reviews are awesome, right? Even when you have a bad review, the way that it is responded to is so important. You need to.
I want to reword the way you said that. You said the way it is responded to. The way you respond to it. It doesn't get responded to automatically.
No.
I just had a conversation last week with a wonderful doctor. She's so nice. And all of her reviews before COVID were one thing. They were all 5-star. And since COVID, she has gotten bad reviews, one after the other. And there's a good reason for it. She explained it to me. And it's a COVID issue that patients don't understand. Well, had the first time, she could have put that up, and she could have said, this is why this happens. We're so sorry. And we understand, right? We understand this is an aggravation. Thank you so much for being patient while we're dealing with this issue. And people would have gone, oh gosh, thank you for telling us, right? But she hasn't been. She didn't even know she could, because she's been working with another digital agency who doesn't do that for her.
Oh.
Right. We do that for all of our customers. We do that for every single one of our clients. And we do it in a way that makes their customers happy.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that there's not going to be people that are not so great.
Right.
I mean, at the beginning of COVID, when all of our restaurants were curbside only, and they were understaffed and just couldn't even get supplies, and they were trying to do the best that they could, and some of the people were giving them bad reviews because they had to wait a little bit longer. It's like,
right.
Hold on.
Oh, my favorite was.
Where's your compassion?
My favorite was Cinco de Mayo. fell on Taco Tuesday during COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday during COVID, and we have there's a Mexican restaurant we represent. But my favorite part about it was that somebody commented and said, I had to wait, however long. And the number of people who then jumped in. So this is actually going to go to our next point, community management. The number of people who then jumped in and said, oh my gosh, they were so great. Yeah, I had to wait, but it was worth it because they were also selling margaritas and I got my extra margaritas and they were so nice. And I know they didn't have enough staff, but they did such a great job. I didn't even have to say anything. We didn't have to say anything because their customers did. So using your social media, using your SEO, using your website, using everything you do online to create a community around your business makes a world of difference. And that's what you're aiming for.
Definitely.
So, all right. Oh yeah, this is the last thing, content marketing. Content marketing is really, well, a lot of what we're doing right now, right? We've created a podcast, right? And we also have a blog, and I always tell you to go visit our blog at the end. Content marketing is what you're putting out there that is answering the questions people have. On Marketing Moms, we're answering the questions that you have about marketing. What the hell is SEO anyway, right? So we know, you look up what the hell is SEO, and guess what? We're going to pop up as Marketing Moms talking about SEO. So do understand that it's the questions what your content marketing is answering the questions people have. So we see this sometimes with people. What are some of the mistakes people make with content marketing, Anastasia?
Oh, I think the number one mistake is making it sell, sell, sell all the time.
Yes.
We have, and we've spoken about this before, like you have to give, yes, if you go to our blog, you're going to figure out a whole lot of stuff. And you might be able to figure out how to do a lot of what we do by looking at our blog.
Right.
But that's okay. It's okay sometimes to give things a little bit away. Now, we're not giving you the secret sauce on exactly how we do everything we do because that's proprietary information. But,
right.
but
we give you
but we do want to help you,
yes.
and by giving people, and somebody who may not be able to afford your services now, but they can learn from you when they get to a point where they can afford you, hopefully they'll give us a call.
Yes.
Hopefully they'll be like, you know what? ASMM had this great blog. I read it all the time. I got a lot of understanding, but you know what? I don't want to do it anymore. I want to focus on growing my business, like working on the business versus working in the business. And it's funny because marketing, I feel, fits in both categories.
Yes.
Like, yes, you're working on your business to help your business grow, but you need to be working in your business to get the content. So it's kind of all together. But you can, if you have employees, they can give us content. So it's so content marketing, that I would say that's a big mistake, is sell, sell, sell all the time.
Sell, sell, sell all the time. Yeah. People don't really want to know how great you are. What they want to know is how to do something. My favorite thing that people say to me, I hear it a lot from people. They'll say, so I read your blog all the time and I'm learning so much, but my goal is not to have to do it myself anymore. Right. And that's it. I do want to say, as we're about to end, we just went over, we said digital marketing, we said SEO, we said websites, email marketing, social media, reputation management, community management, content management. Oh my God, can you even breathe when you think about that? It's a lot. So I want to say this to you. And I'm always working in analogies and metaphors, so let me go there. When I used to be a runner, when I used to run a lot and I used to train a lot, one of the things that we would talk about is nutrition. And people would say, oh, I'm going to go on a diet and I'm going to cut absolutely everything out of my diet, right? And then it would last a couple of days and they'd have to quit. This is a lot like that. Don't go in and say, I'm going to do everything. Don't jump in and think, I am going to do absolutely everything, because then it's only going to last a little bit. Take small bites, do a little bit at a time, and it will be okay. So if you're trying to diet, maybe don't eat the hamburger, eat the salad. I don't know. That's just an example. But whatever the case, choose something small that's manageable and don't give it all up and don't try to do everything at one time. So it's important.
I think it's a great point. And is this the last slide you have?
Well, I got the ASMM blog.
Oh, well, you missed one, because on our podcast list, our last one, which I think is a great place for you to start, and we've probably mentioned it before,
Oh
is
my gosh, yes.
Google My Business. I don't know how you missed that, Ann.
I wrote it. I did that thing again where I didn't save the banner. I will write it. So talk about it while I'm writing it.
So Google My Business, it is important, especially if you want to get those points with Google. Because if you're not using a platform that they have given you, you're just missing. I'm sure that anybody that uses Google is just getting like double points or triple points.
Right. Exactly.
It's because first of all, if somebody is searching for you, where are they going to go? They're probably going to go on their phone, and they're going to look up. You're either looking people up on Google, YouTube, Facebook, or even in Google Maps. So if you want to show up in Google Maps, regardless of what your business is, because okay, who's looking for social media on Google Maps? There are probably not very many people, but all that information that's in Google Maps shows up in the knowledge box on Google. So it's in two places. So you have to make sure that your Google My Business profile is completely filled out. Absolutely. Everything that you can put in there, you need to put in there. And don't leave it and not come back. Like, you have to come back.
Exactly. Actually, I have something I'm just going to tell you guys right now. I created a course for Google My Business because it's that important. So I think it's free. Let me look while I'm talking to you, but it's ASMM digitalcampus.com. Actually, it's $30. So it's a one-time fee of $30. And, if you really need me to, tell me, and I will give you a code so you can get it for free. But, would help our little business out if you want to pay your $30.
Is it ASMMdigitalcampus.com?
No, it's just ASMM
Campus. Okay. You said Digital Campus. That's why I was
ASMMcampus.com/courses. You'll find the Google My Business course there. It's really easy.
It's
a
well
video.
worth
I'll walk you
the
through
$30. Well worth it. You need
Absolutely.
to that's I would say that's your actionable item for this week, because I don't think we've given one yet.
We didn't.
Make sure. Well, here's the thing. Everything's important, but like Ann said, take your bites in small little bites. Take care of your Google My Business. Take care of your website.
Yes,
now there's a big difference between the free Google My Business page and the website that if you pay somebody to build it, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. But these are very important things. If you are in business, you have to have a marketing budget, because we've seen so many businesses go under in the last couple of years, and I think that it's just going to continue. You have to be active in order to succeed.
Absolutely. All right. So let me go back to, we talked about burgersandbands.org. I want you to please go and visit that site, see what we're up to. We're going to have some new pictures up there. Actually, I've already started getting some in. We had five photographers from University of Maryland.
Yeah, journalism students.
Journalism students, and we had two journalism students from Fort Meade, both sailors. They were there yesterday. And then we had a volunteer, she says she's a hobby photographer, but she took 500 pictures.
Oh, I believe it. I'm surprised it wasn't more.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of pictures that are going to come up. So please do visit there. And if you just want to learn more about how to market your own business without having to pay a single soul, go over to asmmdigital.com/blog and read what's there, because you will learn so much. So we will see you next week. And I did that thing again, Anastasia, where I have no idea what we're talking about next week.
I got it.
Do you happen to know
I have it up. The last one, Google My Business. We're going to be talking all about Google My Business again.
Good.
Yes.
Awesome.
Granted, you should still be getting the course so that you can get it done. And then maybe you will hear something that you can update next week.
Absolutely. So it is, I will tell you, it's not hard. It's not hard. Google My Business isn't hard, and too many people don't do it. The other thing that too many people do, they let somebody else set it up for them, and they never get the password to get into it. They don't own it. Yeah. So make sure you are the owner of your Google My Business page.
Primary owner.
Google
My Business has a primary owner, and then they have regular owners, and the owner is kind of Google's admin term. So you can have other owners, but they cannot remove the primary owner. So that's you have to be the primary owner of all of your social media accounts.
Absolutely. And I would go so far as to say, when you are buying a business, if you are buying a business from somebody else, before you even think about signing that final paper, get every single password and every single bit of thing, digital marketing transferred over to you so that you have complete access to it. Because we've seen too many people buy a business and then not own the website, not own the social media, not own the Google My Business, and it becomes a nightmare for them. So please make sure you do that as well. We could just go on and on.
We need a blog about that, I think.
Yes, about buying. Yeah, that's Dylan, I hope you're watching. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.